If you'd told 17-year-old me that the worst sentence of my life would be whispered between the clack of locker doors and the hum of fluorescent lights, I would have laughed you off the bleachers. But there it was. You're too safe. He makes me feel alive. She didn't know I was standing there. She didn't know my hand was gripping the cold metal edge of locker 317, the one with the dent from when the basketball team slammed it shut during sophomore year. She didn't know my Walkman had stopped playing mid-song, the cassette wheels still ticking softly like a heartbeat that didn't know it was about to flatline, and she definitely didn't know that I was about to become very, very patient, back when everything felt golden. Back in the mid-90s, before the internet crawled into every corner of our lives and told us who we were supposed to be, the world felt smaller, slower, louder in the ways that mattered. You didn't slide into someone's DMs. You slid notes into lockers, folded twice, maybe spritzed with whatever perfume you stole from your mom's dresser. You didn't ghost someone. You stopped calling their landline and hoped their answering machine wouldn't rat you out. And for 2.5 years, Emily Parker was my whole world. We met freshman year, 1994, first week of high school. I was the skinny kid in baggy jeans 3 sizes too big, flannel tied around my waist, Nirvana tee already faded like I'd lived 100 lives in it. She had Doc Martens, dark red lipstick she wasn't supposed to wear, and a laugh that bounced off the lockers and made you look up even if you didn't want to. Our first date wasn't even a date. It was a Friday night blockbuster run with her older sister driving, because neither of us had licenses yet. We wandered the aisles for an hour, reading the backs of VHS boxes, arguing whether we should get The Crow or Clueless. The smell of plastic cases and carpet cleaner is burned into my memory forever. We ended up with Say Anything. I recorded a mixtape for her the next weekend. Actual cassette. Handwritten tracklist. Side A started with the Smashing Pumpkins and ended with a song I pretended was accidental, but absolutely wasn't. She kissed me behind the concession stand at the football game the next week, under the buzzing lights and the smell of popcorn and wet grass. First love, first kiss, first everything. We grew up together in the way only teenagers can. Mall dates at Riverside Plaza, sharing fries at the food court, sneaking into the arcade to waste quarters on Mortal Kombat, studying at her kitchen table while her mom watched Friends in the next room, talking for hours on the phone, twisting the cord around our fingers until our parents yelled to hang up. When I got my pager junior year, Emily learned the codes faster than I did. 143, 831, little digital secrets buzzing on my belt during algebra. We were that couple. Everyone knew it. Teachers teased us. Friends rolled their eyes. People said we'd get married someday. And for a while, I believed them. Enter the hero of the hallway. His name was Jason Miller, 6'2", varsity football, Letterman jacket like it was glued to his shoulders, blonde hair that somehow never got messed up, smile that teachers let slide when he was late, parents with money, truck with tinted windows, the kind of guy who looked like the future was already waiting for him with open arms. And God help me, he was my best friend. We'd known each other since middle school. He was the guy who helped me not get stuffed into a locker in 7th grade, the guy who taught me how to throw a spiral, the guy who let me sit in his truck and blast Tupac tapes even though I couldn't drive yet. I trusted him completely, which is hilarious in hindsight. Tragic, too, but mostly hilarious. Jason and Emily had known each other for years. Same classes, same town, same Friday nights. I never worried. Why would I? I was her boyfriend. He was my friend. That's how betrayals usually start. Quiet, comfortable, right under your nose. The first crack, the first weird thing happened in the fall of senior year, 1997. Emily stopped answering my calls right away, not ignoring, just delayed. I'd call after dinner, get the answering machine, leave a message. Hey, Em, it's me. Call me back. Hours later, she'd call like nothing happened. She said she'd been studying or showering or talking to her mom. Okay, fair. Then she started being busy on weekends. Mall trips that didn't include me. Study groups I wasn't invited to. Football games she sat at the other end of the bleachers for. And Jason? He suddenly knew a lot about her schedule. She's got cheer practice late, he'd say casually, or she's heading to the mall after school. I didn't think anything of it, because why would I? Then came the note. I was opening my locker one Tuesday morning when a folded piece of pink paper slipped out and landed on the floor. I picked it up automatically, thinking it was mine. It wasn't. The handwriting was Emily's. I knew it like my own. Meet me by the payphone behind the mall. 4:30. Don't be late. There was no name on it. My stomach dropped through the floor. I stood there for a full minute while kids brushed past me, lockers slamming, someone laughing too loud down the hall. My ears rang. The air smelled like floor wax and cheap cologne. I told myself it could be anything. A friend. A surprise. Maybe even for me. I told myself a lot of things when denial starts cracking. That afternoon, instead of heading home, I took my bike and rode to the mall. Riverside Plaza was the same as always. Neon signs buzzing, teens loitering with nowhere to be, orange Julius smell mixing with pizza grease. I leaned my bike against a lamppost and waited, pretending to browse a magazine rack. Then I saw them, Emily, laughing too hard at something Jason said. Jason, leaning in close, hands in his jacket pockets like he owned the place. They stopped by the payphone behind the mall, the one everyone used when they didn't want their parents overhearing. Emily picked up the receiver. Jason fed coins into the slot. They didn't kiss, not then. But the way she looked at him, I knew. I rode home numb, the cassette in my Walkman clicking uselessly at the end of side B. That night I stared at the ceiling, listening to my parents argue downstairs about bills, about life, about nothing at all. I didn't confront her, not yet, because part of me was still hoping I was wrong. Proof hurts more than suspicion. The final proof came a week later. My parents were out. The house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. I was sprawled on the couch when the answering machine clicked on. Hey, Emily? It's Jason. I just wanted to say, last night was crazy. I can't stop thinking about it. Call me from the payphone again, okay? Don't want anyone hearing. Click. The room went silent. I replayed it 3 times, 4, 5. There it was, clear as day, his voice, her name, their secret. I sat there until the tape ran out, staring at the machine like it had just confessed a crime. That night, Emily called like everything was normal. I answered. I laughed. I told her I loved her, and when she said it back, it sounded rehearsed. That's when something inside me hardened. The line that broke me, I confronted her 2 days later in the hallway by the lockers. Not yelling, not accusing, just asking. She sighed like I was exhausting her. Then she said it. You're too safe. Jason makes me feel alive. Like that explained everything. Like I was an old sweater she'd outgrown. I nodded. I smiled. I told her I understood. And that's when she made the biggest mistake of her life. She believed me. Planning without touching a single hair. Here's the thing about the 90s. Secrets were fragile. No disappearing messages, no encryption. Everything lived on tape, on paper, on Polaroids, on word of mouth. And I had time. I started collecting the answering machine tape, notes from lockers, a Polaroid. A mutual friend snapped of Emily and Jason holding hands at the drive-in, thinking it was cute. I didn't threaten. I didn't yell. I waited. Homecoming was 2 weeks away. Jason was starting quarterback. Emily was on the court. Perfect. The night the tape played. At homecoming, the gym was packed. Streamers, balloons, a rented camcorder recording everything to VHS for the school archives. During a break, someone popped in a highlight tape to play on the big TV cart, except it wasn't highlights. It was my answering machine tape. Jason's voice echoed through the gym. Last night was crazy. Gasps, whispers, heads turning, Emily's face drained of color. Jason froze. I stood in the back, arms crossed, heart pounding, feeling strangely calm. No violence. No shouting, just truth, aftermath, and karma. By Monday, everyone knew. Jason lost his starting spot. Emily quit cheer. People stopped smiling when they walked by them. And me? I moved on, graduated, left town, built a life. Years later, I ran into Emily at a gas station off the interstate. She looked tired, normal. She smiled awkwardly. "You were always the good one," she said. I smiled back. "I know.